It's on wood now. It's got some circulation and stuff. It's actually reading at 90 degrees on like every core.
Oh my god. Okay, so Sarah actually killed his parents and killed everybody in his family except Aaron, and he kind of went crazy. He was one of these guys that magic had sort of been developed, and he was messing around with it, and he went too crazy and ended up basically killing his own family members. He tried to bring back, like I think his one of his wives or something, and then his wife ended
Okay,
up.
well, you could have it like this, like just a suggestion. So, these guys, they were friends, then they became enemies. And I want, like, my god to, like, the guild to sort of be defeated in the end.
Okay.
But you could have it so Sarah and Aaron work together for this short period of time at the end of the book. Sort of twist.
Okay.
As, like, just as the battle's starting, like, the four gods and, like, the Despoilers Horde, which is now fully developed and, like, has all these demons and shit in it. Like, like a portal just comes out of the ground in the middle of the battlefield, right?
Awesome.
And that's what happens. And then Aaron and Sarah, do they have armies when in the last fight?
Yeah, in this last battle, it's basically all the races and all the guilds have got to their like strong point. And there was a big competition where we searched out for the 12 champions. So not only do you have these huge armies, but you also have these 12 champions, and they're all there to basically fight Sarah. So you have the general, the ruler, the king guy, Aaron, and you have the 12 champions who are mixture
Yeah,
of all
like
the guilds and stuff.
they could be in full heat of a battle, and you know, like in a movie where like they're battling, and then it'll suddenly go quiet, and everything goes slow motion, and then something happens in the background, and like it's like what the hell? Don't know what's happening. You know that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, like that could happen, and like the portal sort of like the ground starts to shake. Everyone's still fighting, then they start to slow down, and ground's shaking heaps. Like, is it in a city?
Yeah, it's there's a city where they're fighting, and there's the Great Wall that separates the
Oh,
north and the south.
okay,
Remember that?
okay, hang on. And like the city and buildings start to crumble a little bit, and they're like, "What?" And then in the center of the city, this massive thing just goes, sort of bursts a massive hole, and a portal sort of starts to form above the hole with lava in the bottom and stuff. And as that happens, these like I thought of this awesome idea for airships of the Nether. They're like airships, right? And they come out and they're made of like metal and netherrack and stuff. They have cannons and lava things, and they're like the airship part is like glass and lava in the middle.
Okay.
But like they start to come out, and so this one like all the guilds are fighting. Is it all the guilds?
Yeah, they've all
And the
come
races
together to try to.
are fighting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they could do this one thing that because all the guilds are like fighting now pretty much. There
Yep.
could be this one thing that in the end they all unite, and that erases what happened with the origin of hate. Like it brings back Truecraft into one united form.
I love it.
And like because of the Spoilers Horde and the Four Gods, they all come out, and all the people are realizing that they shouldn't be fighting. And Sarah and Aaron, they get together, and this is like, you know, battles like Lord of the Rings, they go for a couple of days, and like people will be having a meeting in the upper city while there's a massive fight going in the lower. Like, oh no. Well, that could be happening, and Aaron and Sarah Sarah and get together,
Uh huh.
and like, they talk, and we should stop this fighting, and like, start working together, we can't defeat this alone. They like unite, and like, they defeat, close the and like banish the gods permanently and kill the spoiler.
Cool. That adds a little bit more at the ending, but that was kind of what I was doing. I mean, Sarah was basically going to get killed uh, in like the third war. There's four major wars, and in the third war, he was kind of ambushed and killed, and that the reason why he died was because he stole the book, and so they actually got the book back from him. But he ended up dying and becoming more powerful, and then that's what created the fourth and final war, where he was trying to get the book back, and they were trying to kill him, and all the guilds and races came together. So they could literally
As
finish the
as
fourth war and go to the fifth war, like what you're talking about, and they could all essentially lose this war to each other because they could realize they had to defeat the gods, not themselves, right?
yeah, and I gotta do some homework soon, but I'll still talk to you. But like you could have this thing in the fifth war or something. Oh, like as soon as you said Sarah dies, an idea popped in my head, but back then,
Well, no, he
but
dies
I
in the
thought,
third war, and he's still dead in the fourth war. But they could meet, this. It could be like a week-long war, and towards the end of the week, he could come to Aeron, or they could have a meeting all together and just say, "Look, we're getting nowhere because these gods are making us fight each other. This is why we're fighting to begin with, and the god of change just keeps changing everything, and the god of darkness just keeps bringing eternal darkness and all those things." And they say we have to use the book to kill these gods, and here's what we got to do. And so
so
let's
they've
take,
got to use it together.
yes,
Like
exactly.
it can't be used by one of like Aaron or Sarah. It has to be used by both at the same time.
To get the true power. It's
Yeah.
been used before by one or two people, by Pavo and Hyea together. Hyea kind of started the book itself, but towards the end of it, it's in the hands of Sarah and Aaron. And like you
Well,
said,
you could
for
have
the
it
twist.
to unlock the true power of the Book of Four Weapons. It needs like brotherhood and like unity and stuff because the book is a good thing.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I was
And
thinking
to unlock it,
the 12 champions would do. Everybody could come together. So that's perfect. I love it, Banana. That's great.
but yeah, I was thinking like as soon as you said Sarah dies, it just popped in my head. Scratch it though, but when I said it, I thought like Sarah could die in like the last war, be mortally wounded before they defeat him, and like, but they still defeat them and all. But he's mortally wounded, and like to have a little brotherly scene, and it's all like sad. And, yeah,
Oh, okay. You want that brotherly moment?
I mean, like if you thought it was good, you could have it, but that was just an idea that popped into my head as soon as I heard that he was like died at one stage.
Oh, well, you think about some of the best like movies or novels or stories just overall. They have all those layers, is what I call it, and each layer can tell a story like that. The brothers, the husband and wife, all these different things. The children talking, all these layers of stories. And the more layers you have, yeah, it's complex, but you keep simple bits of information and you give it in simple ways, and then people understand it, and then you have chapter after
Okay,
chapter.
something I was going to ask you about 40 minutes ago.
Okay.
Okay, so I came up with the dialogue bit. This is going straight off topic. So it goes, as the four gods of the Nether emerged in true craft, they were met by Parvo and the four dragons, comma. Zentek turned to the other dark gods, and then I was thinking like he says something like, this is the one who I have known would come, or something like that, because he can tell the future and stuff.
Okay.
But everything he does, like even if he gets defeated, it sort of plots into a little plan, so it's a cliffhanger too.
That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just keep
Because
layering it.
if they were defeated, basically is the most powerful thing in like all of the universe. Even more powerful than Parvo, but in a way, he's not. Like
Yeah,
basically everything, even if he gets defeated and all the gods get killed, it all falls into like his little plan of destroying and changing everything to his way.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah.
cliffhanger.
That's what I planned for.
Wahaha! Cliffhangers! But yeah, I was thinking he could say this is the one that This is the power. This is the one from or something like that.
Sometimes if you can't find the specific word, just kind of do a placeholder and keep moving on with the rest of the story, and then you'll think of that other word. A lot of times there's like 2 chapters, and you're like, I don't know what to write on number 1, so you just write whatever you want, and then chapter 2, you're totally inspired by chapter 1, and then you go back and rewrite chapter 1 again, and then you have 2 really good chapters. So you wrote 3 chapters, but you kind of have to do that sometimes. I've rewrote my book over and over and over again based off of all the stories that everyone has, and we keep changing it. And you have to, because every time you come up with something, you think of a better idea and you want to redo it.
User in your channel timed out. User entered your channel.
Alright, this is the one that would oppose us. God, Blobberus has good dialogue.
What?
Blobberus, he's got some good dialogue. I like his dialogue.
Yes. Well, he's one of those people that said he'd like to be a writer eventually.
I mean, I'm good at English. Aside from the spelling.
I'm horrible at spelling, but that's what
Yeah.
editors can help, and spell check is for.
I mean, aren't a lot of writers not that good at spelling?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. But they still get through it.
Yep.
Oh.
I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. I actually had a story that was kind of similar to this TrueCraft story, and then I realized that I was horrible at spelling, and so I just said, you know, I'm just going to draw pictures. And I was way better at drawing at that point. I mean, I had a natural talent for drawing, so it was like, why would I even write when I can draw? But I was like, I think I could be a writer. And then after the years went on, I did projects that involved lots of graphic design and brochures and websites and all these things where I had to develop any kind of writing skills I could. And eventually I started realizing that people, you know, they really liked the different types of styles and different ways I was writing, and next thing you know, it led to more projects and more jobs, and I was making magazines and all kind of stuff like that. So it's kind of like just an evolution, and I guess that's how it happens for everybody.
Yeah. I was just watching a video there. Okay, so I think that's good dialogue for what he says. This is the one that would oppose us. Like, he says it sort of towards the other gods, but he means, like, he knew that this one would, that Parvo would, like, try to destroy them and stuff. But anything where, like, Tazente, like, sort of lets them, like, because he knows the future. If he gets defeated, it's because it's part of his master plan. I'm not going to add that in the story, so it's sort of weird. He knows the future, but in a way he, like, lets them defeat him because it all fits into his plan, yeah. This is really hard. Okay. Go back.
Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Oh, like, I'm just watching something. Fair back.
Alright.
Disconnected.
fire going around it.
Because what I thought was, if it's like this is all your choice, it's your book. What I thought would be cool is, it's like a thing that's like all the stories of Truecraft put together, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I was thinking you could like make it look like a journal at the front, or something really old, like a real like a tattered leather front sort of thing, picture, and it might
Yeah.
have a really cool emblem.
Absolutely. You know the symbol that I have for like a necklace? I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
it in any of the videos. That has the tree.
Um,
That has to do with the whole
yeah.
story of Pavo when he dies, and there's a tree that's planted from his ashes, and that
Oh yeah.
tree is on the symbol.
I figured out how to get the bone dragon into the story.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, that
Like,
little symbol is going to be on the book, so you'll see that symbol. And the edge of the book has holes, so it has like a metal spiral type binding. But we could do
yeah.
like a bound together with like leather or something like that, some type of wire, any other idea on the side because it actually has holes. And then we can just
Because
order.
what I thought was, you could like have all the stuff, right? But have it on a leather thing. It's like a tattered, like, have you seen those books that are like a diary, and they used to have it, and it would be sort of a thin wood, and then
Yeah.
leather over it? You
Yep.
could have it look like that, and then have the emblem in it with metal. I
Yeah.
thought that'd look cool.
It kind of looks like that actually, because the emblem is like silver, and the book, if you look at it from a distance, it looks like it's old, maybe leather or something, but it's actually this like plaster, like really hard, and it was hand painted by somebody to make it look like it was old. They use them as props in medieval gatherings and medieval events. So they'll actually take this book, and it's supposed to look like some old journal or dragon's diary book or spell book or all types of things. And I looked
Yeah,
around for a long time to find it.
I figured out how to get the dragon into to the story.
Let's hear it.
Well, like the person who's the despoiler, he's my second identity. He's my what's it called? There's a name for doing things on superheroes. He's my you know that identity, like Kent Clark and stuff like that.
Superman with Clark Kent, of course.
Yeah, it's like his double
Alter ego.
I don't know. Yeah, alter ego. My alter ego's like, actually I've forgotten it now.
Oh, I saw your character profile, I think that you wrote.
Oh yeah, that's Akira. He's like my other character, but my the one for the guild.
Your alter,
his name was
alter ego. Oh, for the guild.
Technically,
Gotcha.
I feel like playing two characters. Like, I don't want to be evil all the time. So my evil character, his name is Revuel Arvida.
Okay.
I got that out of one of the bad.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I got two names and put them together. That Revuel Arvida. But he's the evil one, and then Akira Elthane, he's the good guy. The one that I have the skin of now.
Oh, that's a cool name. I like it.
Yeah,
what are we gonna do for the animal on that actual, like, the posters, the minimalist posters that I did? We need to have like a color.
I like the hobo spider. That was cool.
They didn't like that. I don't know if you saw the forum post. It was the perfect one of all of the animals because it was a hobo spider in real life that travels around, and that's what it does. But they were like, "Oh my God, it's too scary," or it's dangerous, and we don't want something that's non-threatening.
I can understand what they mean. There's well, I mean, I think it's really good, but like the pigs.
That's like something my grandma would pick. Like, I want to be a hobo, and they wanted to be like a sheep. I think we ended up with kittens or something. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, are hobo spiders venomous?
No.
Do they bite?
Not really. No, I'm sure they bite whatever things they eat, but They're not like some big poisonous spider that attacks people's. I mean, we have Minecraft spiders. Plus, we're looking for a minimalist poster, and there's a real hobo spider, and we come up with a guild called Hobos, which is kind of silly, just the hobos. So we were like, what can I do to make it seem a little cooler than just a hobo? And it was like that
Well,
spider
if they
changes
think
it.
it's like, I think Blobberus doesn't want it because like the hobos are really like nice and don't attack. If you tell Blobberus that it's like the hobo spider isn't venomous or something, I'm sure he would like, and doesn't attack humans, I'm sure he'd be like, oh, it's a lot more fitting then.
Yeah, yeah. Not all spiders are scary, dangerous. Well, obviously, there's Charlotte's Web, right? But
Hmm.
I mean, this spider obviously looked like it was kind of scary, but I tried to make each one of the guilds have their own kind of style to it, and it was real simple, and I thought it would work. But I don't really care. I mean, they made it up to begin with, the hobos, so I'll let him go along with whatever he wants to do. We got the color right, and I'll put the cat on there. I'll do some kind of a symbol so it looks cool, and then we can just move on to the next one, and whatever you want to do in yours. The way that it works out is in the beginning of each episode or each show that we're going to do, it'll have like an intro, and there's going to be these pages that flip. I've redid the whole thing in 3D, and the pages look awesome. And I'm putting the banners on each of those pages. So what'll happen is they'll spin page by page. You'll get 2 or 3 of those banners, and then you'll see part of the map in the background. So it'll have like the castle or whatever, and it's got the landscape with the trees around it. Then it'll show a couple more pages as the book fly by, and then it'll keep doing that like 4 or 5 different times before it
Yeah.
shows all the sketches and all the posters. So I want to get everybody's guilds in there, and I have a little more time to get the last couple guilds in there before I make like an official video and do our real project for the funding that I keep talking about.
I should probably hurry up on my thing. But yeah, I figured out how to get the bone dragon into the story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So what happens is reveal. He isn't known as a spoiler until he gets sucked in. But he's opened the Hell Gate with some of the power that the 4 gods have given him. So he's opened the Hell Gate. It's really big, but he can't hold it for long. And for 2 nights, he's holding it. And the gods and Parvo and the is it 7 dragons?
4 dragons.
Well, does the 4 dragons include I just said the dragons of power because I didn't know how many. Is it 5 dragons including the dragon that turns into the bone dragon, or is it 4 dragons including him?
4 dragons total, including him. He was the white dragon, so
Yeah.
he ended up
So
turning into the bone dragon. Basically, all of his skin was burned off. Massive.
So what happened
Okay.
is like he can't hold the portal anymore, and it's like sort of overloading and like because the Nether is just raw emotion and evil stuff. Sort of like sort of like it's leaking out into the world, but the portal's imploding at the same time. So that happens like Parvo would have been sucked in, but he isn't, and like because the white dragon like jumped in front of him and like saved him.
Awesome.
So Parvo didn't get sucked in. Instead, the white dragon did, and like Parvo's army, which was like the guilds and stuff, right?
Yeah.
This is just after the what was it? The era, the birth of hate, I think it's called.
Okay.
When the 2 brothers fight, and that's how the Nether started. But
The origin of hate. Yep.
yeah. Anyway, so the bone dragon gets sucked in. So do a bunch of like Parvo's army and stuff that he gathered to defeat them, and so does Reveal and the 4 gods. They all get sucked in. Reveal, he's like, hang on, give me a second.
Okay. I'm just running around in the middle of the woods at night, hoping that I don't die. Looking for.
You want to know my coordinates?
Well, wait. I think I find a building over here. I might be walking up to it right now. I don't have anything.
I doubt it, because the coordinates are x181 Y79 and Z5579.
What?
Blobberus, like, didn't want to be anywhere near the Bone Warriors because we absolutely hate them. They just think they're the top.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, they're still playing the server. They're the majority of the people on the server. But yeah, yeah, we put up with them. But yeah, I really think they griefed my tower. I'm just gonna make it hard for them in special ways.
There you go.
But yeah, okay. For the way that I see Review when he becomes like just at the portal and stuff. Give me a second. Ah, goddamn. Okay, can you go into Google Images and look up Age of Darkness?
Oh my god, I'm getting killed by the spider. Jesus.
This book I read, I saw it at the front cover and I'm like, that is the perfect armor for him. Seeming as I based everything and like really had it really close to the Warhammer thing because I think their chaos is pretty suiting. Yeah, I thought that was pretty, you know, fitting for him.
Okay, hold on, I'm running away from a spider.
That's cool.
So wait, what? You want me to look on Google for what?
Age of Darkness. Look
Age
on
of
Google
Darkness.
Images.
Okay, hold on. Keep talking. We're making a video still, so whatever you say was going to go in the video.
Damn, that failed.
Alright, let's see. Firefox. What was it? Age of what?
Age of Darkness. You see the book bit?
I'm looking under images. Oh, the Age of Darkness. Okay, PS3.
Is it a game? There should be a book cover.
There's a game called Age of Darkness. Let me look up book. Age of Darkness. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Whoa, that guy's...
You see it?
What is...
Yeah, that's...
It's hard to see. See if there's any large ones.
Really, with him, I thought, like, it'd be, like, sort of armor like that. I definitely want him to have a claw and a mace. But with the emblem of the, you know, Despoilers Horde on it.
I need to get a
But yeah, so...
big one. Do you have
He
like
starts...
a larger version of this? Like, if you can link
I'm
it.
not sure.
The one I got is really small. Wait, here's another one. 2,000, 200, 500, 200. Oh, that one's 400. Let me see.
But yeah, so... Reveals fighting the, Bone Dragon, or White Dragon. And as they're fighting, he sort of climbs up it. And hits it, starts hitting him in the head with the mace and stuff, you know, big fight, epic battle. But yeah, he kicks off, lands on ground, or netherrack, and the Bone Dragon, or White Dragon, sort of like, is sort of dazed, and it sort of like, gets flown back, because he hits it with like, magic power. You know, magic, which is evil.
Of course.
And evil people have magic.
Of course.
And he a massive burst of energy, sort of whitish red, and it like the dragon falls back into the water, lava, and yeah,
Awesome.
and then it's sort of going like the end of Terminator 2.
I love Terminator 2.
Yeah, but yeah, at the ending it's like I'm dying, and like happens, but then the four gods think, and they come over, and they resurrect the dragon. And it it's dead pretty much. but they resurrect it, and it ends up being bone. So yeah.
That's an awesome story. I like it. We just need to write more of it down. That way we get it all right. Now that you told me, it'll be easy for me to write it all down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little plots and storyline that go on in this whole, like, big history of all of these different characters. I had to draw all these different maps so that I could figure out exactly what was going to happen and where it was going to happen and when it was going to happen and make sure it all made sense. Because some characters are not in the same place. And
Yeah, I tried to make it. I had to change it a lot to make it perfect to fit in through the story.
Yeah.
See that? You're a writer. Do you reckon you could like sort of improve on that? I read Seven Dragons. Teehee.
Okay, let me see.
I'll have to change that to 4. Just not like spelling wise, but more like
As the 4 gods of the nether emerged into Truecraft, they were met by Pavo and the 4 dragons. For the next 2 nights, the battle could be heard all over the world of Truecraft, until the Hell Gates could no longer sustain itself and enabled and ended in a massive implosion,
yeah.
ignition that sucked, and that's all I got.
Any little things you could fix in there, just
Was that
because
all of it? Was that all of it?
yeah, that's all I've got so far
Okay.
in like that last little paragraph. I can use Notepad. Don't have Word. Why'd I quit Minecraft? Yeah. Just doesn't really sound right.
Well,
Yeah, I
it's kind of weird when you just say information. You know what I mean? It's like as the gods and the nether, and it's a lot of information to write, and it's kind of a run-on sentence. The problem is you have to stop somewhere so that the person knows where to go. Quit, use sentence, and the good writer, they have tools where they use 3 sentences. So it might be like this whole thing could be 2 sentences, but you could actually do like a short sentence that's just a real quick little bit of information, and then a medium, and then a long, and then a medium, and then a short, and then a long, and you keep doing different size sentences, and it kind of makes it interesting to read it. But even
so should I?
more important than that is when you tell a story, if you tell it so you're sort of uh, you're not telling the story, you're giving the point of view of different people, and they're kind of talking. Does that make sense? So like in a comic book, they don't necessarily always just go, in the beginning this happened, and they don't talk as the narrator the whole thing. They get into like Superman, and Superman starts talking to the villain like, I'm gonna kill you, you're not gonna kill all the people, I'm gonna save the day, and the evil villain
Okay,
says
so
that kind of stuff.
should I add some dialogue into
Yeah.
that last paragraph? Because
Absolutely.
the first bit, I'm not very good with dialogue. Like once me and my friend read a whole story that was pretty much all dialogue. Like it didn't even tell you who was talking, you just had to figure it out yourself.
Well, see, you started off like this, and that's pretty cool. So maybe you do a little of that, and then go into it like you're talking about. So you couldn't even really tell it's just talking back and forth. And I like that idea that you wouldn't be able to tell, but like you said, maybe it's weird or something. I don't know.
So I was thinking as the four goes, they were met by Parvo, and then and the 4 dragons. Then after the 4 dragons, I could add like a little bit of dialogue, like I don't know, like you know what I mean?
Oh
Kind
yeah.
of hard to figure out.
No, you can take any one of these and break it down into like a scene. So, for instance, you like the gods in the Nether emerge into the Truecraft, and they were met by Pavo and the 4 dragons. So all of them were in one spot at one time. So basically, you can have them interact or talk to each other, or you could even be like, Pavo looked at the white dragon as to say, and then you can kind of like say it as if he was thinking it. And then when they get closer and they're actually interacting, like the four gods could talk to each other. One of the gods could say, um, you know, a great injustice has been done. We shall resurrect the dragon, blah, blah, blah. And then the other god says something
Not
back
dead
to
yet.
him. What's that?
It's not dead yet, but yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, so they basically are just kind of telling the story, but telling each other. And you just kind of get in the character. What are your four gods again?
There's Nargrel. Oh, Nargrel. Nargrel.
Cool.
He's the god of decay and pestilence. I followed a lot of Warhammer's gods, but you know, changed
Whatever
their names.
inspires you. No, I like.
I really
the
only
names.
changed the names a tiny bit, so.
No, I like the names. That's how a lot of people do it. I mean, we want to try to be original as possible, but now we're adding to the story, so they'll have their own new life, and they'll be kind of based off of some of those ideas.
Yeah, so the gods are Nargrel, the god of decay and pestilence, Blarash, which is Blurash, he's the god of blood and suffering, Blarash,
Awesome.
Blarash, it's hard to pronounce, Blarash. I smoke KFC. My dad just got home, so maybe. Salashi, Slashshei, the god of darkness.
The god of darkness.
My favorites. The next one's my favorite.
Okay.
He's the god of darkness and chaos. And the most powerful of the four gods, I'm reading this straight from the story, Tezenteh, the god of change.
Awesome.
It was originally Tezentech, I think. I couldn't really say it. They're hard.
Sounds like Aztec almost.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And give me a second. Be right back. I just gotta check if this KFC.
Sure.
I'll be back.
What's up?
Did you die? Oh no.
I just exited.
Okay, so you reckon they're good?
I think that's awesome. And here's what you want to do, because those four gods would all act completely different. They would act like gods, but they would talk about the specific things that they're representing as a god. And rather than be like the god of so and so, you could say that the god of whatever, but his name is going to be better. Just say his name, and then say like, what did you say your favorite one? The god of change.
Tezentech, the god of change.
So Tezentech said, "This is a change, but as the god of change, I do not agree." You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's the god of change, and that's his name. And then all of a sudden one of the other gods could say something to him.
Oh yeah.
And then
so like,
name one of the other gods specifically. What was the other one again?
Well, they sort of don't like each other. Like, so like, I'll explain. I got this off Warhammer as well, so they're sort of following that. But Salashi, the god of darkness, right? Would that be copyrighted if you like copied what? I didn't. Well, I kind of copied them, but I didn't. But yeah, I kind of changed the name.
We have vampires and zombies and a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and
but
it's
they're
going to
not
be
copyrighted.
changed as we do it. I mean, it'll have to be changed as we go to fit the story, but it'll be based off of what you're originally wanting it to be. So
Okay.
that's how most stories go.
But so like Salashi, the god of darkness and chaos, it's like she's it's a she, the goddess.
Oh, okay.
She she likes pleasure in takes pleasure in pain and stuff. So she would like hang on. I should change this. Okay, so she's now the god of darkness and suffering.
Okay.
And Blarash is the god of
Editing it right up there?
yeah,
Awesome.
blood and chaos. Okay, so the Blarash is the god of blood and chaos. He likes to kill them like fast because you know they just like to kill. But Salashi, the god of darkness, Salashi, she likes to kill them slowly because she takes pleasure in pain and stuff, and so do her worshippers. So
Gotcha.
Blarash is like sort of enemies with Salashi. They all work together, but they're sort of enemies. Is like they're different. And Nagul likes to like decay and rot everything and bring it and just melt it down and stuff. But Zentek wants to build and change, so they're enemies.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them are friends and some of them are enemies, but they're only friends when they have to be, when they can do what's best for them, or how.
They always are, but like they don't like each other. Play tricks on each other and do bad things to each other and stuff like that. But they sort of work for one cause.
Gotcha. So rather than one of them would say something like, "I don't approve of this change, even though I am the god of change." And then the other one would be like, "You and your stupid sayings about being the god of change. I'm the goddess of the darkness and blah blah blah." And she would say something, and then another one, they would all sort of like attack each other because they don't really like each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, hang on, I gotta go get tea. But yeah, I kind of did something with the classes.
Okay.
I might be gone for like 10 minutes. Will you still be here?
I think so. Yeah. I'm kind of just looking
Yeah,
at the server. I got this little place I'm checking out right now.
With the classes, higher tier, there's limits to them. I'll tell you when I get back. Okay, be right back.
Sounds good. Awesome. All right, let's go top of this tower here. It's looking pretty awesome. Don't have any more items, and my treasure chest is right here. Awesome. So I got some food. Pick. A boomstick. So that's a bug, I guess. Snow goes on top. Looks kind of interesting, but I guess that is a bug. So I always find this place at night because I can just look for the desert with all that glowing right there. There's actually an NPC city that direction. Went over there and checked it out. It's really cool. Kind of scared to go down here right now, seeing as it's still nighttime and I'll get killed. But I've been making this little area right here. I think I can dig some of it out. I don't have any sticks. Shoot. I'm gonna have to get some wood. Oh well, I'll have to get some wood from the trees and make my little tools, which there's some over there, but I'm not gonna go out right now. Maybe I can find some coal if I'm lucky. Start a little path going down. Dig something down and see if I can find some coal, and if so, I can take this food and maybe cook it. I don't have any wood or anything like that. Alright, so let's start kind of going down at it. Outside and spiral down maybe. Let's see, start over here, kind of go out a little bit. Oh,
over. So no coal so far. I'll go down a little bit more just because we can. And we'll go over here. Probably should be daytime pretty soon. Not that late. Okay, I'm not finding any coal. Let's go back up here and see what's going on. So the moon's going down. Like I said, it's going kind of quick. So let's see, work our way back down here. The trick could be to get a bunch of wood so then when we get back up here we can make a bunch of tools. See, I started going, oh, that was not smart. Got some trees over here. If I can get some pumpkins, I can make some golems. I have yet to find pumpkins. But I will go hunting for pumpkins soon. Alright, let's punch some trees. Punch away. Punch, punch, punch. Uh-oh. What's that? Is there a zombie down here? Ooh, there's coal down there. Awesome. There be coal down there. Alright, let's see. Come on. I'll make an axe after I get all this wood out of here. Right, that's the top one. Alright, let's see. Put 4 on the outside, around the outside. Oops, that's one extra one. Don't need it, but oh well. And then we will make some sticks. Save 2 just in case. I don't know why, but we might need them. We can make some stone tools. Let's see, grab the stone, put it right there, right there. Pick, come grab like 2 of those just.
We're back.
What up?
What up?
Just making tools.
Cool. Okay, so the gods started because of or they never did because of it doesn't. Hang on, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, the nether
Awesome.
started because of something.
It doesn't say anything about how it's the origin of hate, but it doesn't say it, but it adds it. You can see it. It says the Nether didn't remain a myth for long. As one dark day, when the foundation for the first city was still barely laid, and all the guilds lived in peace, 2 young brothers joined the Legion. One content with what he had, and gladly stayed, while the other resented the laws and left to join the Order. And as the 2 brothers' hatred for each other grew, so did the power of the Nether until the 4 gods were born into existence.
So the people created the 4 gods almost because of
Pretty
their
much.
feelings, basically, the way that they felt.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought that was pretty good.
That is good. Is that
Anyway,
something you were just writing in? You just added to it, or you're gonna add?
I have added that. That's in there.
Oh, okay, awesome. The way you said it, I guess I never didn't hear it, or maybe you just added it.
That bit's the start. But yeah, with the guilds, I mean the classes, would have done is lower tier, they can be, unlimited. There's higher tier, but there can only be limited of them. Like there's Soul Thirsters, there can only be 3.
Okay.
There's there's a Herald of Blood, there can only be 2, and Keeper of Secrets, there can only be 5 of them.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Then the unique classes, which is only ever one of, and it's the Devourer and the Prince of Decay. The
Awesome.
Devourer would, I think the Devourer would be a really mutated person. Like, really mutated, like have, worms, giant worms in movies, how they got the massive mouths that open up at the front and claws and stuff in them.
Oh yeah.
It'd sort of have a smaller version of them for a head, and like a tentacle arm, and like a really mutated thing. That's why it's called the Devourer.
Oh no.
And the Prince of Decay would be something like clad in like heaps of thick armor and stuff with a massive sword, like a claymore, but a really big one.
Okay.
And he'd have like no shield, but he'd have the claymore, and then the other hand would be like mutated with really long spiny fingers coming out of the gauntlet.
Ew.
But they'd have really sharp ends.
Sounds cool.
And the Despoiler is the leader class. And he's like in the picture I showed you.
Uh-huh. This is perfect. If anybody hears this when they're watching the video, they can just talk to you. Private message Banana Juice King, or talk on the forum, and then they can just work their way to whatever one of those classes you're talking about, and that'll just build the guild up. We need to get to the Nether. Have you got any obsidian yet?
There's this other bit where it's like the 4 gods plotted and watched the mortals for 7 years looking for a champion. One man with a soul able to withstand the powers bestowed by the gods. The gods, full stop. No
they were looking for the champions too. That's
awesome.
awesome.
One champion.
Oh, just one.
But bestowed by the gods. Full stop. Have a break. Then it's like the gods reached a halt when their gaze fell upon a young man. His name, Reviel Avarda. The gods toyed with Reviel for a while, setting him up with tasks where he would be driven mad until he finally killed the one person closest to him, the one who he held the strongest emotional bond with, his wife. The 4 gods had, then it's like the 4 gods had their champion, and with the powers bestowed upon him, he opened the Hellgate.
That is awesome. I'm going to take part of that and I'll make a little sketch or something and just put your voice in the background when saying that. That would sound so cool and look cool.
Yeah, I need to put on a really deep voice for that.
Yeah.
Then it's like, after a Hellgate, it's full stop, then it's the gods finally had their chance to escape to Truecraft. There was just one problem. Parvo and the 4 dragons of power. And it's like, that's the end of the little bit of that.
So, basically at the beginning of the whole story is when the dragon is sort of set apart from the other 3 dragons, the white dragon, because...
Well, you could say there's chapters in the story. There's like how the gods were formed, how they found their champion, and then there's the bit where they how the dragon was set apart from the other dragons. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's real similar to exactly how the novel is. So that's like a little story within our entire. That's almost like a chapter when we get it all worked out. Because really, we could just expand on it over time, but it gives the basic information. So when you're reading through the story, you'd know these characters and what happened and how they play into the whole story. And in the novel, I don't basically start off telling you everything. I kind of start off with the story being told to somebody, and that story unravels and is talking about Pavo and Hyea and how the Red Death has affected all the kingdoms and all the things going on. And as the chapters go by, you get to get this sort of sense of all the
Hang on a
people.
second.
What's that?
Could we add something to Pavo?
Of course.
We'd have to add this into the story, and like in part of Pavo's story is the bit where he defeated them. But could we add it that on Pavo, one of the gods, Tezente, as he was fighting Pavo, he sort of like, and the other dragons were fighting the other gods. He sort of like got one hit on him, and it just before they like ended, because Pavo would be a good fighter because he's a god. But they got one hit on him, and it scarred his face along just above the eye. Would he add that to Pavo?
Oh, give Pavo a scar. Sure.
Yeah, like it could be something that happened to Pavo when he.
Well, you gotta
died.
think. I'm not gonna start Pavo off where he is like this veteran and he knows everything and he's powerful and all that. He doesn't start off.
This is a bit after. Is like this is when he's like sort of in between now and like before he was like pretty powerful.
Okay. So there's a couple major wars, and so this can basically between the war that it needs to be, so it makes sense in the story, and then he himself can get these scars. That way, as the story goes, we'll kind of add it in there so you'll know. But I'm trying to think where exactly it would go, because he starts off as a young kid and then travels basically south and then goes west.
Hey, what's burlap?
Burlap. It's like a material. It's like a cloth. Like a cloth.
Yeah, apparently like that a map very similar to that material comes in the pre-order of Skyrim, and I have pre-ordered it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, burlap is like they used to make old burlap sacks, and they would put a bunch of stuff in them because it would keep them for a long time.
I'm trying to find out more about what's in the pack. I'm pretty sure there's like a diary sort of thing.
I don't know. It's
I
really
want that.
awesome. I was laughing.
I'm gonna write all my Truecraft stuff in that.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be my good book.
I actually had these little gifts, like 3 different ones, and I bought them already. They weren't too expensive, but they were really cool, and they're basically these little notepads, but you can wear them like a chain or something like that. So you could have all these different types of things where you can actually have a pen in it and write down all your notes and stuff. It's like little sketches and stuff. The pen
that's really cool.
has like a little capsule, and you can pull the paper out and you can write and everything. So it just looks like a little capsule, or it doesn't even look like a capsule. And I was just thinking,
Is it like one of the old things messages would use? Something similar to that?
Yep, exactly.
Oh yeah.
I also have these really cool dog tags. There's 2 on a chain, and they have this like almost little gold thing. It'd be something like in the story how it actually happens is the dwarfs make all these items, right? So they made these dog tags for the war for the Legion, and these are kind of put these little gold nuggets in them basically, and these little gold nuggets actually were like relics, and it turned this necklace into sort of a more of a powerful type of relic. So now all of a sudden you have this actual necklace these guys wear in a battle, and it gives them more strength. And it's kind of cool because the whole story plays off of all these different like minerals and objects and rocks and all these things being combined together to create different sort of relics. So if you think about it, like the redstone would be used in a ring, and that ring would allow vampires to basically walk around in the sunlight, and that would be part of this whole history that goes on why the redstone itself is made into this actual shape and all the things that go on before where it was blessed or cursed and all these things that happen. And these specific redstones were made into a bunch of jewelry. And there's these vampires that can walk in the day just because they have these few of these actual rings. And so there's other things like that, like I said, these necklaces and just other relics that you can wear, and these things give you power depending on the guild or the race that you're in.
I need some help here. So, oh yeah, someone at my school, his name is Lawson.
Lawson.
Yeah, Lawson. I thought that was pretty funny. He turned around and he's a senior, so he's got a rugby top that says his name on the back. It's pretty cool. But that's his last name, so yeah.
There's
Anyway,
a professional football player. He's a wide receiver. His last name's Law. When I play NFL, I always play with that guy. He's pretty awesome.
Cool.
Wide receiver.
Yeah. There's this thing. I was thinking of a dialogue and then I got one and I was gonna write Parvo, we meet again, but then they haven't met. Then I was gonna write Parvo, the one who has imprisoned us for so long, and then it's like they haven't been imprisoned. So I'm like, and then I'm like, Parvo, we finally meet. But then how does he know his name?
Yeah, exactly. I know. Well, let's see. They were imprisoned, and how were they imprisoned?
Well, they weren't.
Oh, they weren't imprisoned.
Yeah, that's the problem. It would be cool if it were, but I don't really want to change how it is. Because the brothers started to hate each other, and the Power of the Nether happened, and then the gods were born.
Oh, that's right. Exactly. Okay. So,
wait,
kind of
does
exist.
Parvo
What's that?
Truecraft?
Say it again.
Does Parvo hold the most power in Truecraft?
Not until the very end.
Okay.
The way that it works is he dies and is reborn. It's kind of like the famous Jesus story or a lot of religious stories where their god becomes a god after he dies. And so midway or semi-midway through the story he ends up dying and then he comes back and that gives him a whole new set of powers.
This could be how he dies.
Yeah. Well, the way that he dies in the story is he's poisoned by Yurik, his brother. And it's kind of tricky because Yurik is basically like this guy that's an immortal, and he's been walking around the world forever waiting for his brother to be found, Pavo. And
wait, was Yurik used to be a good guy, and then he started to hate Pavo?
Yeah, at one point,
well,
when they were younger brothers.
They like to turn people against other people, right? That could be one of the ways they do it. And they wanted to get... Wait. Was, did, Yurik want to kill them before the origin of hate?
Did he want to kill Pavo before that? Yeah.
Actually, no, scratch that, because I was going to say you could make it so... These gods, right, they've turned Yurik against him, but then again, they were born after or during the origin of hate, and Pavo and Yurik already wanted to kill Pavo before that, and they didn't really know Pavo, so yeah.
Well, Yurik was around, since the very beginning of time, and he had his influence on all these people, but he got bored and essentially went to sleep. And he was woke up when they thought that they found Pavo, because Pavo was basically, he was like frozen. He was in this city and nobody, he wasn't growing, he wasn't forming, he wasn't doing anything. He was just like in isolation, frozen. And then when he basically was unfrozen, that's when they decided, okay, we're going to have to get Yurik, because Yurik had already said, I'm searching for Pavo, and he searched for, all these hundreds of years and could never find him. not only that, but he really killed all these people and took over all these things, and he was just bored. So he was like, "Wake me up when you find Pavo," basically. And then they found Pavo, and so he went to go get Pavo in the city or the town that he was in, and Pavo basically was protected by the people, and since he was protected, he really didn't know what was going on. He didn't know that he was special or anything like that.
He could have
So,
been like in Algona or
so,
whatever it's called.
what's that? Algona?
You
Yeah,
know
it is.
Algona.
Yeah, Algonia. It's really close to that. It's actually right above that, as a matter of fact. It's
Wait, is that
located in
that like
Africa.
castle? Is that Daybar castle thing? Is that where he was found?
Drabar? No, that's where he goes to. So Yurik goes to kill him, and the people
Wait,
say,
have you actually made this city yet?
which city?
That Pavo was found in?
No, I don't have a name for it, really. In the story, because we have so much history, I go into detail on some things, but on other things, I don't really go that much
Well,
into detail.
Well, there's like we don't want to spread out everything too much, right? So you could bring it back a bit and sort of make it so, because in our can I just call it Algona?
Sure.
In Algona, there's a massive temple thing. Well, he could have been found in there when like they uncovered the temple, like just say there was mining and stuff. But you could like bring it back and not have that other city, but have it in Algona and put all the story into that. So we're not too spread out with hundreds of cities for different story parts and stuff. So we just get a little bit closer, you know? A little easier to understand.
Sure, but that city serves a purpose for something completely different in the story.
Algona.
Yeah, so it's not like it's not in there. It's in the story. It's just
Oh,
a
yeah, I knew
different.
that.
It's a different part.
What?
And I'm not purposely spreading it all out, but I kind of have to because each one of these places. That's why I said I made a map because all these places kind of represent different things, and they almost have to have their own stories and their own feelings and their own things happening. So you get religions and cultures and races, and that's what makes a story interesting. It has to feel like it's very complex, and there's a lot thought put into it when you read it. And the only way you actually
User
get
in
all
your
that
channel
thought
timed out.
is by actually putting all the thought into it.
User entered your channel.
Yeah, what's the story of Algona?
Well, that city is really not in the story till, I guess, sort of mid part of the story. And it's a city where the Legion is involved and Iran is involved. And Iran is like a good guy. He's like a Legion general. And he's basically the son of like third or second Uric generation. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
Uric had children and then children and children. And so two of those kids.
Wait, did Yurik have sex with an immortal or did he do it with a mortal?
Mortal. He had tons of sex with tons of mortals and had tons of kids. And that's
Viking.
what he did. What's that?
He's a Viking.
Yeah. They're the
Wait,
dwarfs.
is Yurik frowned upon because he was like mean and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. He was.
Does that mean people who were born in like the Yurik, generation sort of thing?
The Uric age.
Would, like, like people born from the generation of like Yurik's kids and stuff.
Oh,
would
yeah.
they be sort of treated differently and worse?
Yeah. And
That-
so much to the point that at a certain point in the story, the kid's father, he goes, I'm trying to turn into a good man. I'm kind of tired of this name that Uric has made for us. And so Uric's dead at this point and no longer around. And so this guy goes, we're going to make Uric into a good name. The family is actually going to turn into some type of a positive thing. And that's when they start to kind of do this war against all the Red Death and the evil. And he has his two kids. One is called Sarah, who you know, and the other one is called Aaron. and Aaron is the good child, and Sarah turns out to be the bad child. And at the end of the entire, novel, there's this big war between Aaron and Sarah, and they've been guided and basically informed and trained their entire lives by either Pavo or Yurik. Because even though Pavo dies, he's kind of like this unnatural spirit that goes around, and he's able to communicate with Sarah and teach him things, and he helps him steal the book at one point. And so Aaron goes all the way across
Hey,
the
hey,
map.
you know what?
Yes.
Can like the four gods of the Nether be defeated in the end? In the novel,
Sure, if you want.
like, cause hang on, would you want like Sarah and like the other Aaron to like sort of work together in a bit?
Yeah,
Would that be a good twist?
at Sarah and Aaron work together in the beginning because Aaron doesn't know Sarah's a bad guy. And basically, Sarah tricks Aaron. He follows him to where the book is being hidden because Aaron's father doesn't trust Sarah, but he does trust Aaron. So they kind of hid the book within the family, and Sarah got pissed off, so he followed them, right? After pretending to be a nice guy, he ended up following
Hang on
Aaron.
a second. My computer's at 90 degrees.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that is actually so hot.
Wow.
Yeah, I had it on my bed, so all the heat's staying, and it's like heating it up. I think I should put it on wood.
Yeah.
That's better.